So let's see if anyone joins us. This morning I'm going to do a project from beginning to end on using Lightburn on using the Fokoos FE20 laser. Let's see if anybody jumps in and we can get started. I'm doing a bit of tidy up because I was doing some other work here last night while on live streams with other people, and I made a bit of a mess and I haven't tidied up yet. Good morning. How are you? I'm assuming it's morning wherever you are, because it's early morning here. It's a 11:15 in the morning. Let's see if anybody else jumps in before we get started. The feed looks good, not jumpy. That's excellent. I'm assuming you're already following, that you got notified, but if not, please click the follow button below. And let's see if we can get going. So today, actually I should change this title to something different because that's not what I wanted to be. Live laser project. Creation, I should add creation in there. That should do it. Okay, so I changed the name to a live laser project creation from start to finish. Please share out the link to your friends and your social medias. It helps get more followers to my channel, and more people can see what's going on. So my goal today is to take this nice piece of dried basswood. You can buy these in hobby stores and crafting stores. And I'm going to take this, and I haven't even decided what I'm going to put in it. I have an idea, but I'd like to get your input actually as members of the community about what you'd like to see on here. But I have an idea of the saying I'm going to put on, but how it's going to look, I'm going to get your input in, so you can actually give your input, and the design will be based on what you're saying. So this is a piece of basswood, really nice piece of basswood, dried, live edge basswood, and we're going to take this and we're going to build a project in Lightburn from scratch, and I'll go through the process, and then from there we'll actually burn it on the laser. So people who are new, people who haven't worked with laser before, give you an idea of how to get from A to B. Now you can actually do it from the larger side because the cut is widens out, but you don't see the live edge. So I want to do it from the smaller side. So when it's done, the live edge finish actually appears. Good morning to everybody who's out there. Say hi in chat, let me know who you are. Let's see who's out there right now. Let's have a quick look. We have 3 people watching. I know it's early in the morning. I know, guys. Hey Ben, good morning. How are you? Is the audio and the video and everything else looking good? Please let me know. So I'm going to spend a lot of time in Lightburn screen, because I'm going to actually share out Lightburn, and we're going to do a project on Lightburn and walk through the process. Good morning, Richard. How are you? Looking and sounding great. Thank you, Ben. Thank you for the feedback. Right. So as I said, we are going to take this piece of basswood, which is nice and dried, and you can buy in the craft store. With nice live edge, which is nice. I like the live edge wood. And is my image getting darker for some reason? It seems to be adjusting. That's weird. Okay, so we're going to take this live piece of wood, and we're going to create a project. Now, I have an idea of the words I want to put on it, and the words are probably going to be something along the lines of: everyone brings happiness into this room, some by entering, or into this home, some by entering, some by leaving. Just something funny. And I thought it'd be a nice piece of wood. We can make it look nice and fancy, and we can burn it on the laser and get a final product. And just for anybody who's starting into laser engraving, they can start off how to take a blank piece of material and how to build a project out of it, and how to make it, how to get outcome out of it when it's done. So first thing we need to do is to measure this, and I have a long ruler and we're operating in millimeters here. The universal size and scale of stuff is easier in millimeters, especially when you're doing laser engraving. So we're going to measure the full length of this, which is just slightly shy of 33 millimeters. Yeah, that's what I think it is, Ben. Yeah. Well, the wood will be going into the laser shortly, so it won't matter. So we're working with 300 and we're working with exactly 33 centimeters. And because the wood is wider on one end than on the other, I'm actually going to use the narrower side of the wood, and we're going to say it's 19 centimeters. So 33 by 19. So from there, we create our outline, and our outline is going to use we're going to use Lightburn. So let me bring up Lightburn. I have Lightburn already up and connected to the laser. So I'm going to switch over to the Lightburn, and we do a transition over there. Okay, so in Lightburn we need to create a box because we need to create our work area. So the first thing we do is go to select a box. We're going to draw a box of any size, doesn't matter. And up here we're going to say it's 33 centimeters. So this is in millimeters right here. So it was let's verify that it's 33 that I said. Yeah, that's 330 millimeters, okay, wide, and I said it was 19. That's 190 millimeters tall. That's the box we're going to be working at. That's wrong. Did I type something wrong there? I did, because I had ratio locked enabled. Okay, try that again. 330 by 19. That's better. So 330 by 190. This is the work area we're going to be working within, and all of our whatever we're going to do with this job is going to fit within that. So I'm going to select this one. Why isn't it not selecting? Come on. There we go. And I'm going to move that into our work area. That seems odd. Why does it seem that wide? .330 by 119. Hey Zolan, good morning. That's funny. I just saw your comment. That's funny. So this is our work area that we're going to be working in. I want to make sure that I have the machine is set up correctly. So I'm going to go in here. It says for FE20, share to the group. Thank you so much. Do a quick edit to make sure it is set up correctly. Next. So there's 370 by 410. Okay, that's fine. So that's 330 millimeters wide, which is our 33 centimeters, and 190 millimeters high, which is our 19 centimeters. So we're set up. Now we're going to build whatever project we're going to do inside this work area. We're never going to use that work area. Actually, we will use the work area once, and that work area is going to be used just to do one thing, and that's to frame or sorry, let me transition back. That work area will be used to frame with the laser, just to mark the outline or to highlight the outline of the area we're going to work within. Once that's done and we're framed and we know we're lined up correctly, we can ignore everything else about it, and we can go ahead and burn what's inside and actually delete that outer frame. So it's only there for framing, and that's it. And we don't need to be precise, because it's going to be hanging on a wall and people are not going to go up there with micrometers and measure it. So they're going to go look at it and it's going to look nice, and as long as it's level and straight, that's all that matters. So let's see, share on Twitter as well. Thanks, Zolan. Thank you so much, sir. So let's go ahead and let's get our text in here first, because that's the first thing we want to do is get our text in here. So I'm going to put in any text at all, and let's call it home policy. We can change it to whatever and fonts later on. Just get our text up there, okay? Now that is not a nice font, obviously. Thank you for hosting. Good morning, Bear. So we're going to select. Let's say we'll do this text, but this is all too large. So we're going to change that font way down, right? So we can do that in multiple ways. We can go to the settings. The font here is set a height of 25. We can decrease that. Now, one thing that you notice here, it's all resizing, so we don't want that. So what I want to do is do one more thing. I want to take out that top line because I want to do the bottom separately. And actually, I'll probably do these separate as well. So let me take these out and I'll retype them again as a separate text entry because I want to align them separately. You see you. Oh, I'm sorry. Forgive me. I'm sorry, Zoran. Thank you for the reminder. So I took off the top line because I want to manage its font and settings separately than everything else. So that's one. I'll create another text entry. House policy, as an example. We can change the words later if we need to. And then we bring out another one, and I'll change the font later as well in a second. I got my laser module focus so good that when it hit the frame button in Laser Gerbil, it would burn the outline of the frame with the laser at 3% power. Well, 3% power, that's good and bad, because you want a really low power to do your aligning anyway, and maybe even to do tuning and focusing, because you have to bring the focus right for every single piece of material. So, are you using a fixed focus or a variable focus? That's the question. I'll change those to not be caps. And so we have 3 different sets of text here. So we'll do a Control A. We select them all, and if we click on this little icon here, we can align them. So let's align them. Align to center. Now that's align them in the center of our work area, which is what we want. And if we select all, we can actually shift that over. Now we're going to change the fonts on some of these. So we're going to move that down. And we're going to click on here and we're going to change the font. And we're going to pick a nice font. We want a nice script type font. And here's all the fonts that are available. So let's scroll down and see what we like. If anyone has any suggestions of a nice font for the heading of this, I'd like something like, not Gothic, but like old script and so on. That would look nice. So if anyone has any suggestions, I'd like your input on this. Like, would that look nice? Maybe. If we change this to from line to fill, we can see what it looks like better. Yeah, I don't like that font. Let's see what else. Anyone has any suggestions? As I said, we're going to build this together to see how it comes out. A nice. I'm using a variable focus. The module is at 70 millimeters high. I use a USB microscope to tweak that. Oh wow! Well, that's taking it to the next level. Are you seeing the drop downs? I don't know if you're seeing the drop downs when I do drop downs. Are you seeing the drop down on the screen, guys? When I do my fonts? If you can let me know if you're seeing the drop downs. If not, I'll have to change it. Oh, you're not. Okay, so I have to make a few changes here. Let me minimize this. I can maximize this to fill the space. Now this is going to be small, and I can share my screen instead. Now if I do a screen share, it's going to be very wide, so you're going to have black boxes top and bottom, and there's nothing I can do about that because it's on a wide screen. So let's try transition to that, and you can see the whole screen now. Tell me now if you can see the drop downs. I believe you can. So it is very wide. I'm sorry, because I have a big wide screen I'm using this on, and that's why it looks so wide and there's such an empty frame around the outside. Okay, good. So let's pick a nice font. This might be nice in a larger size, so let's try upscale this and see how it looks. That's too high up, so we'll have to drop it down. We don't want it right at the top. So with that, it'll come out nice. We can move this down a bit, make some space. We can change this font to something that's no, I don't like those. Let's have a look. And we'll change this to let's not do bold. So any suggestions about fonts and so on, guys? I'm very open to. I want to work with you and come up with this design together, and we can change the font and we can change the text, and I want to make it so we create it as a group, so we all have input on it, how it looks. So let's change. I'm just playing around with fonts and so on here. We can change all of this later. I just want to get examples of what it could look like. Let's see. Any ideas on fonts? Any suggestions? We are going to put other graphics around it, so I'm going to find other graphics to put around the outside of it. Something like that. Now we'll make the fonts infill in a moment. Let's say Ben says, I've tried setting up Lightburn, but even though I've gotten communication with the board, I've the fire button turned on, the button doesn't display. You have to close Lightburn and reopen it after enabling the fire button. And it should display, the fire button should display in the move window. You should have the fire button here. But you have to turn it on, close Lightburn, and reopen Lightburn because it needs to reload the configuration option. Oh, it should work. Where did you turn it on? Let me see, in Tools, sorry, Edit. In Device Settings, you have, where am I? Enable the laser fire button in here in Device Settings. Is that what you're doing? And after doing that, then you save and you close, and you also have to set a minimum power. And I set the minimum power to 0.025 because I know at that power level it will not burn anything. So I can turn that on, use it for focusing, and then turn it off again. Just double check your settings that that's where you turn it on. It's in the device settings and you have to turn on the option. It should come on there. But it does require a restart of Lightburn once you've enabled it. So let's see about changing our fonts a little bit. Let's see, go to Cuts and Layers. In the Edit Device Settings. Oh, so exactly what I did. So it should be working. I don't know why it wouldn't show up. It always shows up for me. So these are not going to be cuts, so we can turn off Optimize for Cuts Paths. So what else? Good morning, BM3. How are you? Anybody have any ideas about fonts and text first of all before we move on with the project? I'd like to get your input. Anybody? That's good to see that you're doing good. Anybody have any ideas? Okay, sorry, no problems. Thanks, Zolan. Always can depend on you. Anyone have any ideas or suggestions on the fonts that you think would look nice in this? There's going to be a plaque that we're going to and laser burn. I'm gonna clear coat it, and so it can actually be hung up on a wall. Only kind of joking, I know. So I'm looking for ideas and suggestions on fonts. If you have any input on the fonts, and we'll find graphics in a while. Anybody? I know it's like asking people about the colors on the screen. I understand, but we can see what it looks like. So here, I'll tell you what we can do. We can do this, and we can preview what it's going to look like. So this is what the engraving is going to look like. The red is the moving. And if you scroll, and as we scroll out, so I only had that one area selected. So if I cancel that, and I select everything, Control A, and then I right click and do a preview of it, I can actually see what the whole plaque is going to look like. So this is doing a fill. Now this is showing black here for the fill because of our work area highlighted. When that goes away, it will not be filled in. It'll only be working on these areas. So because it's actually doing negative. So if I take this, let's say that's the best way to do this is to select this outline, and I'm going to give it a different color. But I'm going to give it the blue color. So then this is a line. It's got a line setting, and the top one has got a fill. So now when I do Control A and I do an outline or a preview, it won't fill in all that area, and only because you see here it actually shows the text being engraved, and it's been engraved as fill, as you see here, even though it shows this line on the screen. So how does that look? Do you think we should change it? So let's change a little bit. Let's modify this with different. I like a more fancier script text. Let's go down here. There's some nice script fonts down here at the end. We're not going to do the wingdings because it doesn't look good. That's too. No, that's too hard to read. Even though it'd be large, it's still too hard to read. So let's move up and see what else is here. We could do it like Star Trek. Let's not. Let's see what other nice fonts we're going to choose. That's a nice font. If we do the same with this one, and this font was the Rage Italic, so let's do the Rage Italic again. Where was it? How does that look? What do you guys think? Do you think that will look nice? We can do a preview of it. Let's do Control A and do a preview. Right click and do a preview so we can see what it looks like. And remember, the red is a travel of the head. Do you think that's okay? We're going to add fonts, and we're going to add some borders and stuff around it. So now we're going to find some borders. So let me go find a border, and I'm actually going to go to. You're going to see multiple screens here, so ignore them, please. I'm going to come out here, and I'm going to go to Gothic border, SVG. So to get some nice borders for around the outside. Good morning, Llama. How are you? So let's get some nice images. Let's have a look at some nice Gothic style borders, because we're going to use a script Gothic style design. So we can pick a nice border that would look good around that, and we can resize it to meet our needs. So let's find something that looks kind of nice. And it doesn't have to be a full size border. It can be just a trim top and bottom. These are nice. We could use that on top and this on the bottom, or something along those lines. Yes, I've actually allowed. I've measured the size of the area to ignore the live edge. So I'm only working at 19 millimeters rather than 20 or 19 centimeters rather than 21 centimeters. So I've only picked the wide area of the wood to work on. So I've already allowed for that. So let's see if we can find any nice borders out there. And again, it can be a line art. It can be very thin. It doesn't have to be a thick border. These are kind of nice for the corner edges, or maybe something like this. We could also do these other ones. I like to keep them symmetric. It's nice. This is quite good. Let's see, maybe we'll go with something like I don't know. I like these Gothic styles. These are nice. What do you guys think? Come on, I want your input on this, guys. I'd like the community to be involved in making this, because it's going to be a project that we're going to build from beginning to end together. See if we can see some more here. Let's see if there's any nice ones out there that we can go with. This is kind of nice. But it's very dark. I think I want something thinner, so I can actually do vector engraving rather than raster engrave of it. Let's go with these. Maybe. These are kind of nice. So let's visit this site. I can download it. Now there's two things. You can download a file. Actually, that's not the one I wanted. That is not the image I selected. This is a nicer image, actually. So it's small. I can download this. And now that it's downloaded, I can minimize this window out of the way. And we can go pick that up. So let's do a file open. And let's see, downloads, and I want to select all files. Again, select all files. So just say all supported files, and that was the one we selected. We'll do an open. Oh, why is it importing? Okay, that's not what I wanted. So I'm going to go to my folder and actually drag it in instead. So give me a second, guys. Go to my downloads. Clippy art, I believe it was called. I'm going to drop it in there. There we go. That'll be a nice little border for the edge of our design, and we're going to resize this to about this size and drop it roughly not in the corner but close enough. So we're going to do a copy and paste, bring it up to the same level as that one to line them up. To do small movements, you hold on the control button to get them lined up. That's good. And then we're going to bring it all the way over here. Now we need to change its direction as well. So we can mirror it. We have all these options here to mirror the selection horizontally, which is what we want to do. And then we're going to copy and paste again, and we're going to bring it over and align it. And we use a control button to get it precisely in the same alignment. Okay, there we are. And then we're going to bring it all the way up to the top corner. And what we want to do now is we want to rotate it. So we can actually rotate it here. And if you look at the bottom of the screen, right down here at the very bottom, it'll show you how much you're rotating. So we want to rotate it. And we want to, Control Z, sorry, undo that. That's too high, so I'm going to bring it down to about here. And I'm going to grab this and I'm going to rotate it around minus 90 degrees. Okay, then we're going to do a copy of that and paste, and again we're going to line them up. So we're going to do the four corners, and we're going to use a control button again to get them lined up. There we go, and we're going to bring it all the way over to the other side, and we're going to mirror that horizontally again by pushing this button. Now we have our layout. Now, is there anything else you would like to add to this? Anything we wanted to change or add? We can do that. just let me, we can add more content to it. If you want to change the size of the font, maybe we should make this a little bit bigger to make it stand out. So we can increase its size. That's too big. We should get this and move it down a little bit to fill in that space. Maybe we'll get a nice border. What do you guys think? Let's see if we can find a nice, not a border, but a line separator. So line. Good morning. That's not what I'm looking for. So 1 second, let me drag this. It's easier for me to see on the other screen because that's on a really big screen and it's hard for me to, and it's far away from me. So I'm going to look for a line divider actually instead. See if I come up with any lines. Nope, nothing on that screen. I'm just to let you know, I'm looking on, I'm going to Google over on this other screen, line SVG. Let's see if we get any nice dividers here. Oh, that would be nice. So let's go with this. I'm going to go to the site, see if it gives me what I need. I'm going to show you on screen. Let me bring it over here. So this is the file. Okay. Actually, that's a free file. I don't want a paid file. I want a free file. So let me go back again and get a SVG free. And we're going to find a free file out there that we can use. And I like this one actually. I'm going to visit this site. And I'm going to drag this one over here. Yes, accept cookies. Of course, we're going to accept cookies because we want the file. So we want this file here. And I can download them. Now, there's two ways I can do this. I can download them, or I can cut them. So I can use the clip art tool. And I want to show you. I want to do this for a reason. I'm going to use the snipping tool, and I'm going to snip this area. And there's a reason why I'm going to show you this. Oh. Click out here, say new. I want to show you the ability that it has to capture and convert an image like this into a nice design, into a line art. So I grabbed it and I'm going to copy and I'm going to minimize all this out of here because I don't need it anymore. Now I'm going to bring that in to my image, and you can see the line is there, but it's surrounded by a white space and I don't want that. So I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to do a, where am I? Right click, select it, right click, and do a trace image, and this is going to trace the outline of that image for me, right? And I can do a few adjustments by adjusting the sketch details here if I want to, the threshold of what it does and does not accept. See, if I overdo it, it takes the whole area. So you want something around the midground is what is normally where it goes by default. Is normally good, so I'm going to do it again. So trace image goes back to the default. I'm going to take those settings and I can change the cutoff areas, so it actually, I don't want all that in there, I want it all the way down there. That's good. And I'm going to do, I want to delete the image as I go, hit OK, and that did the opposite to what I wanted. Control, because it selected, I don't know why it did that. It actually selected the outside instead of the inside. That's really weird. Let's try that again. If not, we can always get another one. I'm going to bring up my Twitter, my video feed as well, so I can see what everyone's saying. So, nobody said giveaway. I don't know why. Yeah, Matt's here. That's weird. So I'm going to do sketch trace. No, actually, I'm going to change the image because it's not. That image is not a good image apparently. Let me bring up that window again. It didn't like that image, which is kind of weird because it looked good. And so I'm not going to go to Pinterest. This kind of different page. I'll go to a different place and I'll get that line. I did not like that one. So let me find a nice simple Gothic line. And I'm going to grab the image out of there and we'll see how it turns out. It did not like that one for some reason. So this would be a very classical line divider. I'm going to download this file. And I'm gonna, this can give me a zip file, and I'm going to open it. It's the floral design elements, and I'm going to unzip it. And we're going to see what's in there. And it gave me as a JPEG file. You'll see it's the right one. Yeah, it'll give me a whole pile of them in there. So I'm going to have to copy and paste one out of these out of there. So it gave me this, which didn't load. We delete that again. And so they give me a JPEG file, which I should be able to drag in here. Oh, because it's still inside the zip file. Sorry, 1 second, I forgot to unzip it. Right click, extract all. Sorry, I'm unzipping the download file, and I want to get this image, which is a whole pile of them, in here, which I do not want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag that over into an empty white space. Right click, trace image. It should trace them all, and then delete the original. Go. That should leave me with my outlines. And I'm going to pick a nice outline. I'm going to say something simple like, let's go with a simple line. Sorry, I need to right click on these, and I need to ungroup them. So now there are now separate pieces. So then I'm going to select the one I want. I'm going to go with this one. And I'm going to regroup that because it's been broken down. I'm going to group it into its components. Now I can drag that one piece over to my workspace. And the rest of this I can ignore. So let's zoom back into my workspace again. And this is what we're going to be working on. And I'm going to change this from line to fill. And now I can work with it. Let me bring up my chat here so I can see what's going on. And I'll minimize all my other windows because I can't see what's behind them. And I can interact with you guys. Okay, cool. Let's see. I had affiliate as of today, but sometimes it takes a few days to go through, I believe. I was started to set up my my information in there, but I do have affiliate. Cool. You just got a job for printing for Costa to a puzzle for him. Nice. Very good. So I should have affiliate as of today. I've been invited. I just have to fill in all the stuff. Yeah, it might take a bit for the paperwork to go through. So I'm going to put a divider between these two. So this is my piece I'm going to be moving. I might put it up here. And I'm going to change its size because it's way too big and too clumsy. So I'm going to shrink that down to something a little bit more, a little smaller. And I'm going to probably change its vertical height as well to make it thinner. And I'm going to do another thing. I'm going to do Control A, and since everything's selected, I'm going to center everything using these. Right, so you're going to center to center. Oh, that's Control Z. Sorry, that brought over everything else. I don't want all those because I selected all those too. Let me get rid of these first. Delete, because I don't want to center on these. And I select all that because they were in my screen. Delete. Now I'm going to zoom back in to here. And now I'm going to do Control A again. And this time I'm going to center to the center. Control Z. I forgot to put those. Okay, I don't want those centered. I want this one centered. And this one centered to each other. So let's try that again. Now it's centered. Okay. Now, how does that look? Do you think it looks good? You think the overall layout looks nice? Let's have a look at a preview of it and let's see how it looks. Let's go and select all, Control A, and we'll do a right click and do a preview, and let's see how it looks. So the red area is where the laser head is moving but not actually doing work. How does that look, guys? Do you think it looks good? I can turn that off so you don't see it. Does it look nice? Okay, so next thing we're going to do is I'm going to put the laser or the board into the laser. Let me transition over so you see what I'm talking about, the board I'm referring to. Okay, looks good, right? So I'm going to transition over. I'm going to show you again. This is the board that we're going to work on, and I'm going to put this into the laser, and then we'll do an alignment. We'll do some framing to make sure everything frames correctly, and if it frames correctly, then we can hit burn and do it. Okay. So let's get this over. Actually, that's kind of a little dark, I think. What do you think? Do you think that's too dark? Maybe I'll leave this as a line. Let's see. Let me cancel this because this might be better as a line rather than a fill, because it fills too much. So select that, give it a different color, and change it to line art. So then if you do Control A and preview it, it's not as dark. Because I thought that centerpiece was yeah, that looks better actually. This is a piece of basswood. It's natural live edge basswood. You can buy these in the hobby stores. They cost a few bucks, and they can make really nice signs out of them. So we're going to do a frame of this in a moment. So let me get it into the laser. And what I'm going to do is, if you don't have a marking on the, it's not pine, yeah, it's basswood, yeah. I don't mind a knot in the corner because it's not. I'm going to set the settings low because basswood is a very soft material, and I don't want to set too high. I'm going to set it at about 50%. See how it goes. If it needs another pass, I can give it another pass. But I'm going to set it and look. It looks dense, but basswood is actually a soft wood. So it's pine wood actually is harder than basswood. It's supposed to be rough around the edges. So and what I'm going to do as well when I put it in there, I'm going to use the X gantry to do the alignment. Now I'm switch over to the laser so you can see what's going on. While I line up, and I'm actually going to, I'll have to raise my voice so you can hear me because my microphone's on my table, but you'll be able to see me line it all off. Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Diesel. How are you? Dense is probably not the right word. No, dense is how you describe me. It's not oak. No, it is a very soft material, and it cuts super easy. Like, it's really easy to cut and to engrave basswood. So I'm going to put in the laser, so bear with me while I switch over to the laser screen, and I'll move over there. Okay? So one moment. You should still be able to hear me, but I'm going to line it up. I have to open my enclosure first, and the camera may move a little bit. I hope not too much. It did move a little bit, okay. Actually, I'm going to turn it off because I want to manually move it to line. And I'm using this as a straight edge. I'm using this as a straight edge to look along to line it up with it. Okay. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is manually move my laser. It won't matter, I suppose, but move the laser over the piece, and I have a black card, and the black card I'm using for focus because it's on a dark surface. So let me turn my laser back on. It may auto home again, and I'll move it back out if it does. Okay, so I'm going back to my computer, and I'm going to move the laser out to where the using the screen, I'm going to use the laser out to where it needs to be for the over the laser. So I'm just going to use the move function. I can show you briefly, and I'll go back to the laser showing it. Let's see, desktop. So I'm just going to use these. No, that's not what I need to see. I need to see this one. Let me see which one I want to give you to. Okay, so it's not showing all the screen. So there we go. I'm just going to use these buttons in the move to move the laser over the piece. So I'm just going back to laser view again. That's actually a black anodized aluminum card, and I'm not going to engrave that. I use that for focusing. So I'm going to move out and put my laser where I need it to be. And then I'm going to jog it over to the right. And now when it's over that card, so I'm going to move it back a little bit more. And I'm going to hit the fire button. And I have my fire button set at 0.25%. So my laser now is now on. You saw the light coming on. So keep watching, and I'm going to focus the laser. And that dot is tiny, so it's actually not even bright. So if you take this out of the way, you can see the dot. You can see the dot here. And you can focus it in or out. It's got a bit blurry there, so I can adjust it to get it really fine. That's nice and small. Yep. So, now we got focus. I can close up my enclosure. Let's see how the camera position is looking now that the enclosure is closed. That's looking okay. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to frame. Now, I only want to frame the outside line. Everyone get their glass on, you don't need it. It's a bald spot, thank you. I've done oak and it works fine. It's just you have to do sometimes you have to do multiple passes because it's such a hard wood or a really high power. So let's do. I'm going to turn off, and I'm going to leave it on the laser. But what I'm doing is I'm turning off the layers. It's everything else is being turned off. And I'm only going to leave on I'm turning off all the other settings. So let me show you in the Lightburn. I'm turning off all these settings, so all the outputs are off. This is on as show, and I'm going to turn this on as the output, so that's the only one that's going to run. And I want that on because I want my frame to work. So I'm going to do a frame without firing the laser first. So first home the laser. This will give me an alignment of my part. And if I hit frame, so I need to move the part. That's way bigger than it should be. Why is it way out? And I set the dimensions correctly. That's interesting. Because I set the board, the dimensions of this all correctly. So let me do turn these back on. It's weird that that happened, even though the dimensions are correct. That's interesting. So let me do one thing. So I'm going to do. I have do a Control A, and I'm going to shrink all this down because that was way off. And even though I've set it correct, and it was a bit too tall as well, so I'm going to shrink it down this way too. And again, I'm going to turn. These are all showed, but the output is going to be turned off for these. And that's on, this is off, this is off. and I'm going to frame it again. So I'm going to go back over to the laser, show you what's going on, and I hit frame button. Actually, I'll home it first. I always like to home it first because I want to go back to my original start point. That way then when I move out from there, it's always out to the same spot. So I'm going to do frame again. Oh, I have cut selected graphics. Okay, I don't need that on. Okay, and it's just doing that outline. So frame. That looks better. It's a little bit over to one side, so I have to move the image down a little bit. So I'm going to select all in Lightburn. I'll switch back over to Lightburn so you can see what's happening. I'm going to do a select all in Lightburn, and it's too high, so I'm going to move it down a little bit. And it seems to be off a little bit to one side, so let's see how that works. And we'll home it again because I always want to go for my home point. And I'll go back over to laser, and I'll do we'll do a frame once again. That looks better. And that's the, also remember, this is doing the frame to the outside. Now maybe I can move the image down or up a little bit. I came down a little bit too much probably. But let's do, I'm going to do a frame this time by holding on the shift key, or control shift key. Yeah, I'm going to do frame. The fourth attempt at the inner layer of the sign Andrew made me years ago. Pause at a height in Clipper. I've never tried it, so it's right at the edge there. The top I need to verify by turning on the laser. So I'm going to do another frame. Just give me one moment, but this time I want to watch it with the laser firing. Let's just make a bit of space here to get from point A to point B. And this time I'm going to home it again. Okay, so I can move the image down a little bit more because the framing is not perfect. So I'm going to do Control A and shift it all. Come over here again. Control A, shift it all down a little bit. I can move the board, but I have the board already aligned. Yeah, I have the board already aligned and squared, so I don't want to move the board. It's just easy to move this on the screen than having to go through and realign it each time. So let's go back and try a frame again. I'm going to do shift. I'm kind of happy with that one. I'm kind of happy with that. Actually, I'm going to do one other thing. I'm going to hit the fire button over here because there's no real energy in that fire button. And hit frame. Yeah, let's go with that because I have room around the border and it looks like it's lined up okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my cuts and layers, and I'm going to turn this off. I do not want to see this. I do not want it to burn ever. But I want to turn these on as outputs, and I want to show them, and I don't need air assist for any of this. And this is set up as an image, which is fine. Let me see how that lines up. That's okay. Oh no, I'm gonna. Sorry, yeah, I'm gonna. Well, I was just checking everything here before I hit the burn. I was just checking. What I did, all I did was is the one area that was the outside line. That was here. I turned it off as output and visibilities because I don't want to see it anymore. That's only to frame my work. That's all I set it up to do. So now we seem to be well lined up in our workspace and on a board. You can put anything you don't want to burn on T1 or T2. Yeah, you can. I just turn them on and off. That's just easy. I just go that route. It's just easier for me because I like it on there as a for framing. Yeah. So and I use a toolpath for the outline framing, and then once that's done, I turn it off and I don't use it. But I keep it there because I might want to use it for framing going forward. So let's home this baby and do one more frame to make sure it looks good. And I'm going to go back to the laser, and all I'm going to do is once I do the framing, I'm going to hit start. Okay, that's all I'm going to do. So I'll do transition back over to watch the laser. Do one more frame to see how it looks. That looks well on the wood, on the path, and we're going to be in from the edges because we're not using those edges. That looks well laid out. Okay, home again. I always like going from home. As I said, it's my start point for everything. And let's set our actually let's do our settings on these. So the fill areas, these are way too high, so I'm going to change this down to speed of 2000 and settings of, we're getting snow. Okay, that's going to be fun in the morning. I'm going to do settings of I will say, I think 60 should be fine for each of these, and I'm going to do again 2060. 6,000 is too high. 2,000 and 60%. Actually, I'm going to make that lighter. I'm going to make it 50, and then we're going to make this 2,000 and 60%. So all I've done, oh, sorry, I forgot to switch over again. Take care, Richard. So all I've done is I set all of these to 2,000. The areas are going to be burnt to 2,060, and the image in the center, which is this one, the image is, I want them a little bit lighter. But actually, no, let's do 60. Let's see how it all goes. If it's too dark, it's okay. This is testing, right? And this is a demonstration about what you can do with the laser. So they're all set 2060. This has not been worked, so what is setting of this does not matter. This has been ignored. We're only going to turn on these two and run all of this. So let's do a home of everything. Again, I'm going to switch over to the laser, and I'm going to hit run, or start button, and we'll get it going. Alright? So is everything homed? Yes. Let's hit start. So that's running. I'm going to quickly go over and have a glance with my glasses on, of course. Always wear your safety glasses. Okay, it looks like it's done. Let me just mute this. I'm going to let her sit here for a few moments to make sure all the fumes are extracted, and then I'll take it out and have a look and see what it looks like. But it looks really good from here, at least, anyway. So let me go get it. The fan has been running continuously, so let me go get it. One moment. So let's switch over. You see me, and here's the finished result. That came out really nice. Now it is slightly off center, I admit. It's a bit more to this side than here, and that's easy to fix. I could always trim off the edge, but the outcome is a nice finished end-to-end project. And I will clear coat over this to seal it up and finish it off. So guys, thank you for hanging out with me. It's been fun. It was getting all of this work done. It was nice, and it came out really beautiful. And remember, follow if you haven't already done so. And I'm going to Jerry is live right now, so I'm going to raid over to Jerry's stream. There's only 3 of us on here, so I might as well raid over. Some of you are probably on both streams anyway. And then I will see you over on Jerry's stream. Thanks guys. Have a great day. Thank you for hanging out with me.